Hey y'all, I want to welcome y'all to this channel. It's the Chicago Vibe Podcast. We'll be dropping this Saturday with your girl, Lady T. Marie and Mr. Success. You don't want to miss it. What up, y'all? It's your girl, Lady T. Marie and Mr. Success. Today on our show, we have a special guest by the name of Catherine Miracle. Stay tuned.
To be successful, businesses need team members to come into the workplace and work together as a team in order to be productive. The problem is, not everyone was trained to know how to do that. Miracle Resources listens and can create a custom training program for your staff. The Brand Plus Team Equals Revenue program listens to the unique needs of each team to create a customized, interactive training session that helps teams communicate with each other. Our training creates a culture of success and respect. This national training program uses certified trainers that cover every state to serve every team in America and has trained over 100,000 professionals. Contact Catherine Miracle at km@miracleresources.com today so your team can work together to build brand, team, and revenue. Let Miracle Resources build your brand from the inside out and increase revenue and awareness.
All right. Welcome back to It's the Chicago Vibe with me, your host,
DJ Mr.
Lady
Success.
T, and our wonderful guest, Catherine Miracle. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk with both of you and all my friends in Chicago. Part of my college degree is from Northwestern. And my sister lived right near the Lincoln Park Zoo. It was so fun. Chicago's a great town. I'm really excited to be on your show and reconnect with friends in Chicago.
Thank you. And we're blessed to have you here. And would you tell the people a little bit about Miracle Resources and what they do? Because we're basically here, we're talking about networking and personal branding. This is today's topic of the show. Well, first I'm gonna jump into the first question that I have for you. Could you explain to our audience what is strategic branding, or any companies out there that want a brand, or any person, artist, or anything? Could you explain to them what strategic branding is?
Excellent. Thank you for the question. So my company, Miracle Resources, and myself, we are brand and team builders. So what we believe in, this is where strategic, personal, and corporate branding come into play. It is when you have a great brand and you have a great team that supports that brand and talks highly about that brand and puts their best effort into that brand. That's when it's strategic. So if it's personal branding and you're trying to take your career to the next level, you're going to see changes in your LinkedIn. You're going to see changes that you want to make in how you present yourself on social media. So we've worked with individuals and we've coached them about your strategic personal brand. It's not just on social media. It is, if you say you're a team player, be ready to tell a story about how you're a team player. Be ready to prove it, right? Now, if it's a corporation, small business, nonprofit, any organization, the same applies. You've got to have people who are like your ambassadors, and hopefully those are your employees. But we found at Miracle Resources, a lot of times we were working on the brand and the visuals and the external, and they weren't working with their team. So that's why we started to do more brand team training. This way, everybody in the company is on the same page about the brand, how the brand should be reflected, who is the target market, what is their value proposition. So quick example, famous celebrity who has a lip gloss that Lady T and I love. There were problems. The branding was fine and she has a great name and people love the product until it came in not packaged correctly. Things weren't good. Orders were not getting out on time. Things were getting returned, meaning the team was not supporting the brand. And then we have the vice versa. We can have a great team that works really hard, but the brand's logo is off, or the colors are off, or the way they communicate is off. So being strategic is making sure your internal and your external match, whether it's personal branding or whether it is a business brand.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. And so if there's anyone that's out there that want to, maybe partner with Miracle Resources, can they partner with you guys? And, they want to learn how to create, how to market for themselves?
Yes, definitely. It's interesting because when I first started Miracle Resources, it was strictly marketing and public relations. And we found that a lot of businesses didn't have problems with the brand externally, like logo, website, all that, which we do all of that for our clients. But the team was off. Guys, think about when you go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
You read the restaurant's great. The logo looks good. Maybe their website looks great. But you go in and the employees are talking trash and it's just bad customer service. It doesn't align, right? So that's why in 2015, we launched Brand Plus Team Equals Revenue, our national training program.
Okay.
So we work with the brand. We're working on the external, we're working on the internal, but we're also telling the story of the brand. And yes, we are always looking for partners, creatives, people who are wanting to do a corporate biography, documentary. We do a lot of those now. We have a new brand coming out in August called Miracle Resources Media, and it is all about the storytelling of brands. So a lot of times brands really need more than just a commercial, and I've done millions of those, but they need a little bit more of their story. They need to tell their story so that way people understand who they are. Isn't it interesting, guys, how we fall in love with brands when we know the story?
Absolutely.
There are brands that you guys will support, and you will always buy those brands because you know the story. You feel like they're part of you. And I know that seems extreme, but again, we're in advertising marketing. When we network with people, if we're not able to tell our story passionately, why we do what we do, then it's not interesting. Like, think about networking events or even digital networking, which is 80% of what I do now. I'm meeting people from all over the world, but I'm sharing my story. I'm sharing how I started this marketing and PR firm, brought all these people on, then went through a horrific financial crisis in 2007 and 2008. The rest of the world went through it as well. We dropped our number of clients because, again, people could not financially afford a marketing and PR firm. So what do? We moved from 90% nonprofit clients and 10% corporate clients. We flipped that. So we went with 90% corporate clients, which is where we're now at now, and 10% nonprofit, because we needed to ensure our sustainability. Then in 2015 and 16, when everyone went crazy and was yelling at each other, and that's still happening today, behavior was off and brands were fighting and getting in trouble. Then we started the training firm. Now in 2023, Miracle Resources Media has so much content that we need to share with the world. So want to say to you guys, looking at your story and your journey, most stories are about need. There was a great need for marketing and PR in 2003. And then in 2015, making sure the internal of the brand, meaning the team training, happened. And then moving into sharing content, which is everything in 2023. So I just want to share with everybody concerned about how you're networking. Don't be afraid to tell your story. Why do you do what you do? Share your value proposition. There's a reason I created the training firm in 2015. There's a reason we moved from corporate 90% and 10% nonprofit for our own sustainability. And 2007 and 2008, those were some tough years, my friends. A lot of my competitors went out of business, and you're going to say, I bet you were happy and you picked them up. I wasn't happy. And let me tell you why. These are good, talented people who lost their jobs in that financial crisis. The only reason we were sustainable is because we had that 10% corporate, which when we turned into 90%. That was the only reason we made it. And we ended up hiring some of the other people as freelancers. That's been wonderful. But to see a financial crisis happen like that, that was heartbreaking. And then the pandemic, right?
Yes.
We lived through that because we were a 50% virtual firm in 2019, 50%. So January, I started seeing the articles. I think you guys did too. And then you started seeing big stuff in February, events getting canceled. So by March 15th, boom, when everything was shut down, we were 100% virtual. And that's how we survived. So I love having these conversations with people about the reality and the truth of what we do. You know, we all have to be honest about the tough times as well as the good times. It's always fun to talk about the good times, but you got to talk about the tough times too.
All right. And how could you explain I see your name, Miracle Resources, and you say Miracle Resource Media, but helping people brand and find their identity, what advice can you give them? Because I know I had this problem when you do multiple things. Like I'm in the film, I'm in the music. It's like hard really I'm into a lot of things, and there's other people too. They be all over the place, like, and then they have a name, don't have nothing to do with, don't tell their edited story. How do you tell somebody when trying to find a brand identity to narrow it down to especially when you do multiple tasks and things?
Oh, Sammy, that's an excellent question. And I want to thank you for asking, because search engine optimization teaches us that our keywords are everything. I am a variety girl. I like to do a lot of things. This morning, I was working on somebody's website. Then I went and taught a class. I gave a speech. And then I'm working on a documentary script. I do a variety, but all of those things help people build their brand. I also worked with people that are teams. I help build their team. So although in marketing people, I call us a Swiss Army knife. You got to be good at websites, got to be good at social media, got to be good at editing, got to be good at video, got to know Canva. You got all these things you have to do, but you've got to find a keyword that really describes. So like Sammy, you're definitely a storyteller. I mean, you're telling a story through your music. You're talking about legends, whether it's in sports. You're talking with people on this podcast as well. Lady T, you got your brand. At the end of the day, guys, find that general key term that identifies so people can say, okay, you're a brand builder. What parts of branding do you work on? Because it could be that you say, like, for example, I have a friend, you guys are going to laugh. All they do is memes. That's it. They create memes. That's all they do. I love doing memes. I think they're hilarious, but I don't want to just do memes. But that's a function of branding. It's a function of engagement and content. So if you are doing a lot of different things, don't feel you're a horrible person, because most people have told you, you got to find one lane. My lane is branding. There happens to be 36 things underneath branding that I do, but my lane is branding. So don't be afraid to find that overall. Like, I'm a brand and team builder, but I'll be working on a documentary this afternoon. So you say, well, aren't you a documentarian? Sure. But it all goes to helping someone build their brand to tell their story.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. You definitely gave us a lot of informative information about building and and marketing. And is there anything that you can say to our viewers, that that may need help, or they maybe want to start a project? What is like the first step they can do to like start a project, whether it be a documentary or a podcast? What is some information you can give them?
Oh, that is, Lady T, you're the best for asking that. I love that question. Usually don't get asked that question. I want to thank you for that question. It's the most important thing. Be a spy. Your job is to research. If you're going to be meeting someone and you don't know much about them, like I remember I went to this we were hiring an accountant. This is years ago. And this guy had like memorized my LinkedIn. He knew so much about me. It was wonderful because I didn't have to answer a lot of questions. He already like knew, what I did and my business. So I call it be a spy, but it really just means research. When you're doing a documentary about someone, you want to know, like, we'll go back through old videos, we're going to look at interviews, we're going to look at photographs, we're going to talk to people who know them. But, it's the same thing when I'm writing a commercial. If I'm writing a commercial for a brand, I have to know everything about that brand. I have to know what emotions I need to trigger in that commercial to get people to say, oh, I need that. It solves my problem. So I think the first thing everybody needs to do is the thing that makes us sit behind our computer too much, is I like to get up and move around. So I try to listen to podcasts. I have a standing desk, but you got to do the research. That means you got to put it in the screen time to find the information, because everyone you meet, there is something interesting about them, their message to the world, but you may have to dig a little to find that. So thanks, Lady T. That's awesome.
There you go. And I just like to add to that, and I encourage anybody to join into some webinars, some like online workshops and stuff like that. I get in a lot of them that don't really have nothing to do with me, but I just get in to learn how they operate, how they introduce themselves on their shows, because that's strengthening me and building me bigger. So I get anybody, like if I'm struggling in, like now I'm struggling explaining what I'm saying, I get into somebody else's webinar, see how they break down their questions and stuff like that. You got to learn, like Miss Miracle said, you got to basically spy. You learn, you're teaching yourself how to be greater in different fields and stuff.
That's so true. And, you know, whether it's a class, because again, I think a class matters. I think as like I teach, and I don't always call myself an instructor. I call myself sometimes a coach. I think you need someone who can encourage you and challenge you. I love watching YouTube videos and how-to videos. At the end of the day, I've learned so much. And just like you, Sammy, being on a lot of things, I know Lady T, you're at a lot of things.
Yes.
I do want to take a moment and talk about networking, though. I used to train people on how to present themselves, introduce themselves when they attended events. I still do that, but I do more of how they introduce themselves and interact virtually. Doing a ton of that because I don't care if you're in Clubhouse and you're meeting somebody. I was in a Clubhouse and Elon Musk got on the Clubhouse. We're like asking questions. It was awesome. I think that we have to be open to the idea of knowing that once in a while, it's very important that you get to a face-to-face. But yes, most of your networking may be digital and through your social platforms. But I want to tell your audience this, and I think this is so important. Sammy, you've heard me say this before. When I started Miracle Resources, there were three clients I wanted. For the first 2 years of the company, I pursued. I went on LinkedIn. I connected to people. I researched them. I remember sitting down at a restaurant with one of the people that has been a client since 2003. I knew what she liked to eat and drink. So I already had that ordered because she said she was running late and I had it there for her. She was so impressed because I did my research. I know it might sound kind of creepy, but I need to say to all of you, your clients should be your best friends. You should know so much about them and they should trust you. We've all worked in situations where there's not trust. If there's not trust, putting your brand in the hands of a marketing PR training firm, that takes a lot of trust. You're basically saying, Catherine, you and your team can take my brand and build it, or take my team and build it. That's a lot of trust. So I learned probably about 5 years after I started Miracle Resources, instead of trying to get tons and tons of clients, I wanted to have my big three. The ones that would sustain us, but the ones that we love working on their project, the one that you get up in the morning and say, I can't wait to work on their project. Because growth is growth, but smart growth is, this is the client I want. I know everything about them. So I see people, there are tons of networking events and they'll say, I went to this, and this. Where's your target market? It's the event you need to go to. So if Sammy says, hey, I really want, I'm trying to think of in downtown Chicago, the Chicago Transit Authority, right? They run the L. That's the L in Chicago. For Cleveland folks like me, we call it the Rapid. Let's say you want to do some film for them. If they're sponsoring an event or they have an event, you need to go. That's what I did. I didn't know a soul in the room. And I walked in and people said, and who are you? And I said, well, I'm Catherine Miracle Resources. We build brands and teams. Oh, okay. Did you meet that person? And all of a sudden somebody would make an introduction for me. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable, but you've got to do it. You need to go where your clients are. Not everybody needs Miracle Resources. I know that. But I think we as a society spend too much time thinking, oh, I've got to have 7,000 followers by the end of the day. I've got to have a viral video. I have to have more Instagram, people, and I've got to have more reels. I want you to have the right reels. for the right audience. I don't care how many people you have. It's, do you have the right people? Now, if you're an influencer, of course, and I hire influencers for some of our brands, of course, we're looking at those numbers. But for most of the people that I talk to as they build their business, they need to focus on the areas they work in, like Miracle Resources, healthcare, hospitality, education. And we also have food and a little bit of retail. But that's it. When I first started the company, we had 45 clients. What? That was ridiculous. It was too much. And we weren't deep. We were just doing little projects. Now we're deep with these clients. So I just want to give you guys permission to get really intent about what you want and stop listening to the bad advice that you've got to, constantly be running around and doing these things that aren't strategic and aren't smart. Because I lived that life and it's crazy. For the first 2 years of the business, I lived that life until I said, okay, these are the top 3 clients we want. And that's where my focus is going to be. It's hard, but you'll do it. And it's worth it.
Absolutely. I just want to add to everything that you said, which was really amazing. And it's given me more insight on, learning more about marketing, because I'm in that field. And so is Sammy. I'm learning that, like you said, it's not about the likes, it's not about the reels, and which is good, to give you more promotion. But in reality, a lot of people that like or subscribe to your channel may not even buy any products, that you have. So it's mainly about you, just, getting the word out there, like you said, to network. And I've learned, I'll be in a grocery store and I'm telling everybody about It's a Chicago Vibe, and I let them know, they could just say, hey, and I'm like, hey, I got a podcast. And, we have a podcast, and, it spreads positivity. It's a podcast. And I had someone that called me and was like, no shade to you out there, but he was like, I think you should, have your show, and you should have like liquor bottles and, and just be turned up. And I said, that's not who I am. That's somebody else. But I only can market what I am and who God created me to be. So, so you just I just want to say this to all the listeners that's out there. You have to know what you want to do as far as what your business, if you have a business, and you have to put the work in. You have to put the work in. Even if you hire a promotional team, a PR team, you have to put work in as well. You can't expect for them to do everything or someone else to do something for your baby, So I just wanted to, let everybody know to, keep going, stay positive, and you may not see, the success starting right off, but you got to keep going and keep grinding. And the more you grind and the more your name, just like your name you have is Miracle Resources, your name stands out, that name makes me say, okay, Miracle Resources. I need a miracle. I need a miracle. So let me see what they're about. So all of y'all that needs promotion, all of y'all that's out there that needs a PR team, to help get your business, your corporation to the next level, I need y'all to contact Miracle Resources, Catherine Miracles.
Lady T, I need to pay you. That was like the best commercial. But I want to synthesize one thing that Lady T said, and I love you, Lady T, for being honest about this. Did you guys notice how Lady T said, be you. You do you. Don't try to be something you're not. Lady T is very clear about who she is, her brand, the people she wants to work with. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. So when I wrote the book, Your Strategic Personal Brand, it's 12 years worth of research. And it's all from working with everything from small business, startups, corporations, nonprofits, individuals, celebrities, infamous people, famous people. They're all in there. And one of the things that's true is there are lies about our personal brand, and then there's truth. And when you get to the truth of what you want, and you're not trying to be like everybody else, that's when you're going to find your audience. You're going to find your people. And being you is going to attract them directly to you. So Lady T, that was so wise. I just had to give you a shout out for that.
Thank you.
All right. And on that note, we're going to take a small commercial break and we'll return after these messages.
Many people struggle with grief, and it can weigh you down. But God wants you to be free. There is a time, a season, and a purpose for everything under the sun. This commercial was sponsored by It's a Chicago Vibe with Lady T. Marie and Mr. Success.
What's good? It's the one and only Mr. Success. Be sure to check out It's a Chicago Vibe podcast every Saturday. Me and Lady T. Marie drop a new episode streaming wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe to It's a Chicago Vibe and Mr. Success Media on YouTube. We also create short film, music production, web design, graphic design, managing, booking, audio visual specialists, lighting, commercial, voiceover, just all around content creators. It's a Chicago Vibe and Mr. Success Media. Subscribe and like.
Hey you, do you feel your back is up against the wall with nowhere to go or turn? Mental illness is real. And if you or someone you know is battling with this demon, try Jesus. This commercial is sponsored by the Lord.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to It's a Chicago Vibe. We're here with our special guest, Miracle Resources. And there's something else you have to say, Lady T?
Yes, Miss Catherine Miracle. I want to, let the people know out there where they can find you and how can they contact you.
Oh, the easiest way, miracleresources.com. Go to our website, check us out. There's some videos on there. We do a lot of different things to build your brand and team. And Lady T, thank you, because miracleresources.com has it all. Thanks for asking.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Catherine Miracles, for being on It's a Chicago Vibe. It was definitely a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. Love you, Chicago. I'll be back soon to visit.
All right. All right, Lady T, on that note, give the people what you love to do. Give them them affirmations for the day.
What up, y'all? Today's affirmation for today is to love God first. Definitely love yourself and love others. Know whatever assignment that you have to complete on this earth, you will fulfill God's purpose for your life. Just keep going, keep building, and keep being great. I'm your girl, Lady T, signing out with It's a Chicago Vibe. Sending love to the world and hugs to thugs.
DJ Mr. Success. You know my motto, when you with Mr. Success, you always have a ball. If I can't tell the truth, it's nothing at all. Mr. Success, bringing pleasure, no stress. Until next week, y'all, peace.
Peace out.
C-H-I-C-A-G-O, C-H-I-C-A, let's go, 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 C-H-I-C-A-G-O,